Everybody loves Raymond and everybody loves bidets, especially the past few years. I feel like they've been on people's minds. Well, not physically, they've been somewhere else physically, but I feel like people have been thinking about them. Like they've just come up in normal conversations nowadays that I never would have thought about a decade ago. Now I'll be at dinner with someone and, we'll be catching up. They'll be like, hey, what's new with you? And I'll be like, yeah, I went outside last week one time, so that's pretty big. And they're like, yeah, that's great. Hey, have you ever tried a bidet? And I'm like, no, not really. Well, now I have, but you know, just a couple months ago, I couldn't say I have tried a bidet. The first time, when I went to Utah a couple months ago, that's the first time I tried a bidet. And it's weird. A bidet, it's something that we just talk about. Like I said, it'll just come up at dinner of all places. You'll be eating, and then the person across from you will just prompt you with a little bidet icebreaker. They'll say, hey, you ever tried a bidet? Which is just such a weird question, right? Given the setting. Because it happens. We ask about bidets. It's normal. That's not weird. So far in this situation that I'm describing, you're not put off, right? This is all very par for the course. But if you think about what this person is asking, it is very weird. Think about it. On the surface, all you're hearing is two people being like, hey, have you used a bidet? And then, talking about it. But another way to talk about that, or another way that you could word that a little more literally, is hey, have you ever tried this mechanism that sprays pressurized water in your butthole? That's a little weird to talk about at dinner, right? When you say it like that. But when we just say, have you ever tried a bidet? We're like, oh yeah, this is a conversation I want to go head first into, right? Which is weird. Because what you're actually saying is, yeah, have you ever sprayed a pressurized stream of water up your ass while you're sitting down? Most likely after you've taken a shit. And we just feel comfortable asking that over dinner, over a meal. That should be a meal ender right there. You should not be able to go forward once the person across from you starts talking about how they spray a pressurized agua stream up their chocolate starfish. That's right. Right on that thing. At that point, just a starfish, But we do it. It is normal. It almost weirds me out like when people talk about when they're trying to have kids. That's what they say. We're trying to have kids. That's a thing we can talk about. Just in the open. But then it wouldn't be okay. You're talking to someone. I'm like, how are you? It's like, hey, we're trying to have kids. I'm like, oh, wow, that's great. Yeah. I just go right back to my meal. But if I were to ask them, hey, how's it going? They're like, yeah, me and my wife, yeah, we're fucking every night. Yeah. And let me tell you what, there's not a lot of cleanup. And it's like, okay, well, let's go ahead and table this discussion for now because we're eating. I don't want to hear about any of that. And then the person would be like, no, that was it. I'm finished. Kind of like how I was last night. It's like, okay, well, that's an appetite ender right there. I'm done. I'm going to put the fork down. I'm probably going to not pay. I'm just going to leave and be like, well, you're going to deal with that. Because who the fuck talks like that, right? But it's okay. It's very okay to be like, yeah, we're trying to have kids. But it is not okay to be like, oh yeah, yeah, my partner and I, we are fucking on the reg. And let me tell you what, we're trying to get results, okay? This is not recreational, okay? We're going for the dub. We're trying to come out with a trophy, okay? We're not playing for the sport of it all. We're trying to bring home some hardware, okay? It's like, goddamn, that is so like jarring to hear, It's okay to be like, oh yeah, bidets are cool. Yeah, we're trying to have kids. But it is so weird to be like, oh yeah, no, I'm, for both of them, getting penetrated, It's kind of like, the thing that we do when we talk about these things is we try to like use very creative language, right? We try to be very broad in our description. But if you just think about it, you know exactly what the person's talking about. It's kind of like, I think only guys can relate to this because when I go to the bathroom with a friend of mine and we go and I go to a urinal and there's, 7 open urinals If my friend goes to a stall, I know what's going on. Now, I try not to think about it, but if you just take yourself one step further, you realize they're taking a shit. You know that your best friend, your friend, whatever, doesn't matter what the relation is, the person you enter the bathroom with could even be a colleague, a coworker. The fact that they're in the stall means that they are taking a shit. Unless they like to pee sitting down, which I think anyone prefers. At home, I would not pee sitting down in public if I don't have to. It's a standing activity, okay? So if you're in public, with a friend, and they go into a stall when there's clearly urinals open, you know they're taking a shit. But you just don't think about it. You don't talk about it because it's not right. The same way you wouldn't say, yeah, I had my toilet was like a fucking Pokemon because it hydro pumped me in the ass. And the same way you wouldn't be like, yeah, I'm having sex with my partner and let me tell you what, there's no cleanup needed because there's no mess. Okay. It's weird, right? But we feel comfortable doing it. And I wonder why that is. This bidet talk. It's got to be a societal thing. It's got to be like a thing we're okay with now, right? It's something we must have matured into. Like I've had this thought before, right? The fact that we go to the bathroom in private. I bet though that there's another timeline, another parallel universe out there where we didn't really care about privacy. Humans, evolved and we were like, it doesn't matter. We don't need privacy. That's not a thing in our mind, right? It's not an emotion. It's not a thought that we have. And I was like, yeah, there's a world in which, humans don't need privacy. And so bathrooms are just like out in the open in public. Isn't that fucking crazy? That there's like a parallel universe where we don't have like bathrooms that are just their own rooms. They're just, at that point, just baths, right? Because there's no room for it. There's a bunch of toilets, go use them. Because that's what, animals do, right? Animals are like, yeah, nature's calling. I'm going to go walk around, test out the ground, and then I'm going to do my thing. Animals don't give a fuck, right? They don't have a choice, But us humans, we were like, I don't like doing this in front of people. And that's the thing. Maybe because, oh, this is weird. Humans we're supposed to be a part of communities, right? Like the whole idea is to do everything with other humans. Maybe we're supposed to go to the bathroom. I hate this idea. I think Meghan Trainor talked about this. Love Meghan Trainor. Love her music. Love her. Love everything she's about. But she did talk about how her and her husband, like, have shit together, which is a weird thing. But what if that's right? Meghan Trainor's, yeah, she's the one that would talk about bidets over dinner and then get into a little too much detail. And I'm like, Meghan, I'm eating a filet mignon. Why you gotta bring all this water sport talk into it? Okay. Anyways, God, I don't know. It's weird. It's just it's weird when you like see a thing and you're like, I know what that means, but the fact that no one's explicitly talking about it makes it okay. But then it's very quick. It's very quick that you can cross over into a weird fucking territory, right? Like you saw before, talking about a bidet versus getting fucking what is it, bubble beamed in the ass. Like it's so close. It's just a couple words you gotta change around and then you're there. The same way, like when I look at my analytics on YouTube, it's like I can see a lot of you are watching and then the likes are adding up, right? Okay, I know where we're going with this, right? You get it, you see it. Please like the video, right? I can see that you guys are watching it, but I'm not seeing the proportional amount of likes. And I've been wrong. I want to come forward and I want to apologize. The past few weeks, I've been wrong, okay? I've been trying to shame you, okay, into liking the video, liking the podcast, and that's wrong. So I'm sorry. Because I just read a book. I just finished up a book pretty recently about vulnerability, and I learned there's a difference between shame and guilt, okay? I've been shaming you. That's wrong. I should have been guilt tripping you. That's right. It's right to guilt trip people, not to shame people. Apparently, this is the example they use in the book. When a kid, you don't shame them because that puts the onus on them. You got to guilt trip them. I know guilt tripping, that's a whole nother emotional, like, fucking manipulation thing, but, like, it's better to guilt a kid rather than shame them. Because shaming them, it reduces their own view of themselves, right? Like, if a kid does a bad thing, it's healthier to be like, you did a bad thing rather than you're a bad person. Because then the action defines them. And they kind of can't sit with that. They think they've convinced themselves, well, I did the bad thing, I'm a bad person. Because you said, you're bad for doing that. No, they did a bad thing. They might be a bad person, and that's probably why they did the bad thing, but you shouldn't tell them it like that. Because then they go forward thinking, well, now anytime I do that, it's because I'm a bad person. No, you're not. You did a bad thing. But you shouldn't let that one thing define you. So all I'm saying is you're not a bad person, okay? Don't let this, mistake of you not liking the video define you. Just learn from it and move on, okay? I'm sorry. You're not a bad person for not liking the video. You just did a bad thing. So that being said, I forgive you. I'm sorry and I forgive you. But just make sure you like the video, okay? That's guilt, not shame, that I'm putting on you, okay? It's healthy. Now, I don't know if it's obvious. You saw earlier in this episode, I had to do a little cut. And also, I spent like 5 minutes trying to start this podcast episode. I've been sick for the past 6 days. Almost, actually, pretty much a week now. Like, right after I recorded the last podcast episode, it started, not good. I started thinking about it. Symptoms are funny because symptoms are like your body saying no offense, right? Like, before you tell someone a very mean, fucked up thing, sometimes you might, to save face, say, no offense, but that's like your body doing that to you with symptoms. That's what symptoms are. It's your body saying no offense, but because, last Monday, it was around 4 p.m., I started getting this weird thing in my throat. Like, it was this weird feeling. It's a very specific feeling, and it can only mean, oh my God, I'm going to get sick. And so it's basically your body being like, hey, you're not sick, but, and I'm like, no, but you're about to make me sick, aren't you? No, I didn't. No, that's not what this is. It's just, yeah, but you always say no offense before you say something offensive. My throat always feels like this before I get sick. And it's like, well, you're not sick yet. I'm like, yeah, so don't go to the next thing. Don't say the offensive thing. Don't make me sick. It's like, well, now I have to, though. I'm like, no, you don't. Body, come on. So I've been sick for the past week, and I hate it. It's so hard to focus at work. It's not even, it's focus. It's having the energy to do stuff. Yeah, I have to wipe my nose so constantly. I've gone through, in the past 4 days, I've gone through 4 boxes of Kleenex. I've never done that. I think it's because I don't remember the last time I've been sick. Like, I was sick a few weeks back. I had mentioned it, but that was because I got a shot. And so it was a reaction to the shot, right? It wasn't like I had gotten sick from someone else. I was recovering from, like, getting a shot. This, I'm sick. I got sick. And I don't remember last time I've gotten a cold. Like, I think that's what you would call what I had. I mean, I had a fever earlier this week, so I don't know if you have a cold. Do you have a fever? Who knows? But I got sick this week, and it's a weird thing. I forgot. I feel like it's been like 2+ years since I've gotten sick. I hate it. I hate this shit. And I'm still sick a little bit. Like, you'll probably see cuts in this episode or little fades, transitions, because I have to keep wiping my nose. Like, I can't go that long without wiping my nose. But there's something interesting about being sick too. Because, like, people at work, you get to see, like, how well do they know you, And it's not even, the bar's not very high, because all I'm talking about is my voice. Now, this week, I think I probably sound fine here. I can't tell. But Tuesday, Wednesday, completely different person. Even, like, pretty much till Friday. From Tuesday to Friday, I sounded terrible. It sounded like I was in pain. To some people. Other people, it's weird. On Tuesday, Wednesday, I was like, yeah, I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm still working, but like, just know I am sick. Um, and then Thursday came around. I still sounded bad, but then I was talking to people, and they're like, "Hey, yeah, you sound back to normal." I'm like, what are you talking about? What? I sound like shit. And then I talked to other people, and they're like, "Ah, yeah, you still sound sick." I'm like, "Yeah." So what were those other people talking about, right? Were they just trying to like gaslight me into thinking I'm better, you know, so I can get work done? They're like, "No, yeah, you sound great. So can you look at this for me?" I'm like, "Oh, how convenient, huh?" So that's what I don't get. Or were they just trying to be like, were they trying to will me into good health? Or were they genuinely like, I don't know this guy well enough to know, is this his voice? This is how it usually sounds? I don't know. I'm like, I feel like, what, we worked together? I mean, for over a year, but like full time for the past 8 months. I feel, don't you know my voice? Right? It's weird. It's weird. Your body is a weird thing, right? I was thinking, I don't know how gross I want to get with how sick I was. I'm not going to touch it. I already did the whole bidet thing. I don't want to talk about it. So instead, let's move into safer territory. Squirt. I'm not talking about the turtle in Finding Nemo. I'm talking about the word and what I thought was the emoji. That's right. I was messaging someone this week, and this isn't weird. Okay, don't make this weird. Just don't read into this. But I wanted to send them the water droplet, the three water droplet, this emoji right here. And in the emoji keyboard, well, first I tried, when you type the word in, sometimes it's like, oh, do you want to put this emoji here instead? Which is just a weird thing. Like, anyways. Also, because I'm sick, my brain is fucked. Like, I don't know if it's already been clear this episode. I like can't uh, think in a normal way. Like during that whole fucking bidet thing I was talking about, I did not know the next thing I was gonna say. It was that was weird. Anyways, you can to search an emoji, right? You can either type in the word and it'll pop it up in the recommendation. You click it, it replaces the word, or you can go to the emoji keyboard, type the word in, and then search your emoji database. And so I went to the emoji keyboard and I typed in the word squirt, thinking that's how you find this emoji, right? No, apparently not. I didn't know that. If you type in squirt, the water droplet emoji will not pop up. And I think that's wrong. I think that's a big like oversight. I feel like they can't be right. I feel like they got that one wrong. Like you got to code these things, right? This isn't AI. Like this isn't something your keyboard learns over time. Like, oh, did you mean squirt? Like this emoji? No, it's like built in. Where it's like if you search these few words, like this emoji might pop up. I don't think it's like self-teaching technology. So I was like, oh yeah, no, an engineer messed up right here. This is wrong. When you type in squirt, when you search squirt, you should see the three droplet emoji. So yeah, Apple, maybe get on that. I don't know. I don't want to have to do your job for you. Okay. Uh, anyways, I've been very attractive lately. What do I mean by that? Not physically, of course not. Uh, Electrically. What does that mean, Garv? Are you using your degree for the first time? No. Why would I? How can I use a degree that doesn't do anything? Oh God, hold on. No, what I mean is that, and this has been happening for a while, but I zap myself so often, just on everything, outlets, technology, computer, uh, the shower I shower in. It has a metal frame. I zap myself on that. I zap myself on so much. I didn't know I was so attractive to fucking static, but it's a thing. And so one thing I noticed that I do is I have like now some little rituals, right? Some weird fucking things I do. Like every time I go up to the fridge, another hotspot for zapping myself. Every time I go up to the fridge, I knock on it twice and then I open it. I don't know why, but I think like knocking on the metal door will like ground myself. It so far has worked. I haven't gotten zapped. One time I got zapped. It was little. It was little though, so I was like, okay, that was manageable. But yeah, now I zap myself a lot. I don't know what it is. Um, I talked to someone about it and they were like, yeah, you shuffle your feet. I'm like, you don't know that about me. And they're like, yeah, I'm just guessing. I'm like, okay, so don't say it like that. You said it very accusatory. I didn't like that. You know? It's kind of like it's kind of like when you tell your friend like, oh yeah, this has been hurting lately, and they're like, yeah, because you do this. And I'm like, okay, easy, easy. That makes it. It's like, what's a good example of that? Yeah, my back hurts, and then your friend's like, yeah, because you keep thinking you're stronger than you are. You try to pick things up that you have no business picking up. It's like, okay, easy. Hey, whoa. Seems like you've been thinking about this one for a while. You ever have that? You complain about something and your friend's like, yeah, because blank. And you're like, okay, you had that locked and loaded. That wasn't, you didn't just come up with that. That was sitting in the repository. You just didn't know when to use it. Okay. Easy. That's like one of the fucking things on Batman's utility belt. Like fucking crocodile spray, right? Isn't some bad guy like a crocodile probably? And so only like one time he'll use that for that guy. This is how your friend treats this thing. It's like the one time you complain about this very niche thing, they pull out the crocodile spray and they're like, shh, yeah, because you you self sabotage. It's like, okay, I feel like you were holding on to that one for a while. How dare you? But metal, right? That's what I was talking about. I don't think you realize how like borked my mind is. Like it is fucked up there. Like, I've also not talked this long, like in a while. I talked for I think what was it, 4 minutes straight on Friday, and it took a lot out of me. So I don't know why I thought I was gonna be able to talk for 45 minutes. I mean, I'm going to. We're obviously gonna get through this. I've only taken 2 nose wipe breaks so far. But yeah, so what I do with uh, zapping myself to try to fix that, I march all around the house. I go high knees. No. But what I do is I notice when I, sometimes the fridge, sometimes the shower, I'll like sneak up to it. It doesn't make any sense. Like if this is this is a metal thing. I'll like go up to it and I'll be like, ooh, let's just get really close and you know I like sneak. I don't just go like this. I like sneak up and I'm like, ooh, okay, and we're touching it and okay, we're good. I try to sneak up on metal, like if I do it in like a clandestine, like secret, you know, way that it won't zap me. Like I'll somehow catch it off duty. It's like, oh, the metal will be like, oh, he's moving slow. I don't see him. Go ahead. That's not how it works. I'm going to get zapped either way. But I feel like for some reason, I've worked it out in my brain where I'm like, well, if I sneak up on it, I'm not going to get zapped. Like I approach now my shower door very, very slowly. I'm like, okay, easy, easy, girl, easy. But no, I still get zapped. And it still shocks me in more than one way, physically and mentally. I'm like, I wonder why that didn't work. Because why would it? It's I know you're an engineer, but you have a very basic understanding of science, right? That's not how you can't sneak up on science. What the fuck? Okay. uh, I this is a few weeks back, but I saw on I forgot what social media platform, Facebook. It had to be Facebook, right? That's where everyone's announcing their engagements. Also, wow. Um, it's like I don't know. It's been like this for the past 1 or 2 years, but wow, a lot of people are getting engaged. Which I congrats. But like even today, 2 more people from my childhood got engaged. I'm like, guys, do you not have like? Are you not busy? Like, I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of friends that are like engaged now. Whoa, that's weird. That's a weird sentence, right? Wow. Oh my God. I, huh. I mean, I already knew that, but it's weird saying it out loud. Hmm. I was having a dinner with a friend a few weeks ago, and it's weird. I mean, I knew that this person and I would one day talk about this, but it was weird talking about it. And I even acknowledged it out loud. I was talking with this person, and the other person started talking about marriage. They were like, "Oh yeah, that is a conversation I've been having with my partner. Like if slash when it's gonna happen, that whole thing." And I just took a moment, and I was like, "Isn't that fucking crazy?" I was like, I knew one day we'd talk about it, but isn't it weird that we are talking about it? Like, isn't that weird? Like this person I was talking to, how old are they? 24. I'm 23. I was like, isn't that weird? We were talking about this. Like I knew. I'm just repeating myself here, but I had to acknowledge it out loud, and I think that's why I have to say it a couple times out loud here, where it's like, I know that one day I'll talk about marriage, but I can't imagine myself talking about it anytime soon. And I couldn't imagine myself talking about it with this other person either. So that's what was so weird. I was like, we're talking about marriage, not in a hypothetical thing. This is 100% like a real thing. Hmm. Andrew Garfield, he's like, what, 38 or something? I don't know, 36? I don't know. But he did a photo shoot with GQ recently. And one of the things they were talking about was, oh yeah, you're getting older, right? Which is funny to think like a late 30s is older. I mean, and I guess it is. I don't know. But they were like, so you having kids? What's up with that? And he was like, I don't know. Like, but he was like, one thing I've noticed is, yeah, I'm talking, I hang out with my friends, and for the most part, all of them are like, having kids, or like there are a few kids in. And he was like, I looked at myself and I was like, huh, yeah, no, I'm not doing that right now. And I felt weird. I was like, huh, isn't that so weird? And then the reason I saw this, it was on some like pop culture, like news show. And I was like, why does this even exist? And it's not even like a YouTube show. It was like a fucking cable program. And it was these four adults talking about, oh, this is really something Andrew Garfield has to talk about. And I'm like, what the fuck are you, what are you doing? This. First of all, why am I listening to these four talk about this? And then second of all, why are these four talking about this? It's so weird to talk about another person's like life timeline. That's so fucking weird. I don't know. I mean, he's a celebrity. It comes with the territory, right? But it is weird if you just like think about it. It's like a bidet. If you just sit and think about it just a little bit, you have to see how weird that is, right? For four adults to be like, man, what TikTok, Andrew? Oh, oh, I wonder what Andrew's gonna do. Why do you care? You're never, and you never will, and you never have met the guy. You never will meet the guy. Why do you care? That's weird. What do you care? Why do you care that what the Amazing Spider-Man is gonna do? Huh? With this fucking, you know? I don't know. Huh. And it's weird because Andrew was talking. He's in his like late 30s or whatever, right? Mid late 30s. And he's like, yeah, I looked around me and all my friends are engaged. And I'm like, I'm fucking in my early 20s. Well, I'm not fucking, but in my early 20s. Maybe that's the problem. But like, I'm in my early 20s and I'm having the same conversation. So it's like, what are things like accelerated now? Or is it just the suburban fucking, it's the product of suburbia? Like in the suburbs, right? People probably get engaged quicker because there's nothing to do except go to like Starbucks and Top Golf. So then you like fucking marry not even your high school sweetheart. A lot of them fucking hate their high school partner, but they're like, what else are we going to do? Right? Now, I do know some people that have been together since high school and they do love each other and they are, high school sweethearts. But then you got some high school heartbreaks, right? But then they're like, what else are we going to do? Okay, we've done this long enough. Let's keep doing this, right? And it's like, anyways, there was someone from my high school that got engaged recently. And this is what I wanted to talk about because a few weeks back he posted on Facebook him proposing. The classic photos, him on the knee. Then, them kissing and then the girl like holding the hand out like this. Like, she's kissing him and then she's like, and then, her hands like on his chest with the ring. And then he's like, But in the picture where he was like kneeling down proposing, in all the pictures actually, they were dressed nice, right? She's wearing like a nice dress. He's wearing like a nice button up, good slacks, good pants. But he was wearing Ultra Boost. Do you know what Ultra Boost are? They're like the everyday shoe. It's like a very comfortable shoe, one of the most comfortable shoes. But it's a very everyday. This is an Ultra Boost right here. He's wearing these. And I was like, that's really funny because you do like the most normal things in Ultra Boost, right? You take the trash out, you watch movies, you go on a run. You can, they're comfortable, they're supportive enough. You go to school, you do everything. You clean up dog shit in the backyard in them. They're a very versatile, everyday shoe. And so it was just funny to me to be like, or just to see him propose in them. Because I was like, yeah, sure. They were hiking, so that makes sense. But it felt weird to see like, a shoe like a tech bro would wear to his job that he loves. On like this guy. Like everything was super propose worthy, right? The setting, the clothes they were wearing, their smiles. But then his shoes, I was like, something seems odd. The fact that you can run a mile in them, like comfortably, like it's actually, you should in those shoes. It was weird to me to be like, oh, you're proposing in those. That's, huh. I don't know why. Proposing, it seems like it's more of a ceremonial thing, right? It's kind of like if someone was to show up to a job interview in sandals, that's that same emotion I had when I saw that he proposed in Ultra Boost. I'm like, wait, so those are just in your, like, you're going to show, they're Mormon, so they're going to have kids next year. Next year, you're going to show your kids these photos and they're not going to understand anything, but just for the sake of my joke, just go along with it. You're going to show your kids these fucking pictures next year and you can be like, yeah, that's us. There's something weird about like wearing a shoe where like a new model comes out every year, right? Like that Ultra Boost, that's the Ultra Boost 22. Then next year there'll be the Ultra Boost 23. I don't know. It was weird. I don't know. Also, the fact that shoe comes in like 32 colors, I think it's, or something crazy like that. 27, 32 colors on the Adidas website alone. Like then on reseller sites, that shoe probably comes in like fucking hundreds of colors. And it's weird that he wore that. This is nothing. This is a nothing burger of a podcast. Fuck this episode. I'm so fucking, I'm not even that sick anymore, but I'm sick and tired. Which is funny because people always say, oh, I'm sick and tired, to talk about like a thing, but that's my state of existence right now. I'm just sick and I'm also tired. Okay. So I'm sorry, but let's try to I haven't said anything funny about the Ultra Boost. It's funny to propose in a pair of shoes that you can play tennis in, right? It's funny to propose in a pair of shoes that a middle school PE class, yes, would probably be seen wearing, running their mile at fucking 8 o'clock in the morning, because that's what they do. Middle schoolers go to school. It's fucking 7:30, and then they run a mile at 8 a.m. And then they just have a full school day, just being sweaty. And they're fucking early teenagers. So it's like, God knows the BO is disgusting. It's funny to propose in a pair of shoes that you can buy at every shoe store in a mall, right? Like an Ultra Boost is in a Finish Line, it's in a Foot Locker, it's in a Champs, it's in a Dick's Sporting Goods, it's in every store. You can probably buy it at fucking Kohl's too. It's funny to propose in a shoe. No, that's wrong. That one's fucked up. That would get me in trouble. Oh man, it's funny to propose in a shoe. Last year, I was hanging out with Alex and Alex Fisher Wagner. Wow, 2 shoutouts in consecutive podcast episodes. And he was wearing, I think, Ultra Boost. And he stepped in a fucking puddle, just fully, like a 3-foot hole. That's not a puddle, but he stepped in like a 3-foot like sinkhole that was just full of water. It was after a rainy day. And we went back to his place, and he just took the shoe and he just left it on the patio balcony area. And he was like, I'll just leave that there for a week to dry. That's the shoe that this person wore to propose for eternity. And they're Mormon, so they'll never get divorced, because I think that's like illegal, right? I don't know. This is a terrible episode. I'm so sorry. It's funny to propose. I don't even know what I'm going to say. Let's see. I have to think of, none of these are good so far. Let's see. It's funny to propose in a shoe that has something called boost technology. It's funny to propose in a shoe that has a collab with Lego. You can buy Lego Ultra Boost. I've looked at them before. I think they're cool. But that's funny that shoe that he wore to make a lifelong commitment for until eternity or death do us part. That shoe has a collaboration with Lego. That's funny. That is funny. That is funny to me. I don't care if it's funny or not. It's funny to me. It's funny to propose in a shoe, an Ultra Boost. You know what's funny? Here it is. It's not. Okay, but I think this is funny. It's funny to propose on a shoe you can slip on and off every day. Like an Ultra Boost, I have a pair. I did the laces on them once, and I just slip them on and off whenever. They're the easiest to slip on and off, and even when you slip them on, like, they're secure. There's no risk of them falling out, but they're such a good shoe. Like, you can just slip them on, and they're secure, and then you can slip them off if you need to. It's funny to propose in a shoe you don't have to lace up more than once, right? Like a nice shoe, a dress shoe, you got to lace it up every time, right? You got to undo the laces, pull them out a little bit, put it in, tie that baby up. A boot is a nice shoe. You always got to do the laces on a boot, though. In Ultra Boost, you can just slip that thing on. And I think really it's a metaphor, right? Because this guy came back from his mission. These people were together for a few months, and he was like, well, let's just slip right into this. Okay? His shoes are like his fucking relationship with commitment. It doesn't require much thought, and he kind of just slips right into it. Anyways, this was a bad episode. I did a bad thing, okay? But that does not make me a bad person. Make sure you like this episode, please, even though there's no reason to. It would just make me feel better, okay? Hey, help me out, okay? Everyone knows it's proven. Online validation makes one heal faster. Everyone knows that. So please like this video, and I'm sorry, but I will talk at you next week. Okay? Bye.